Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we've got a real classic that we're going to go through that a lot of you may already recognize. Aesop's Fables is one of the really foundational children's texts that a lot of people are introduced to first. They're these short, and for anybody who doesn't know, they're these short moralistic fables. They tend to be, they cover tons of different scenarios and different kinds of allegories. A lot of the real favorites are about animals. The monkey is king, the wild boar and the fox. And this particular volume from Applesauce Press focuses mostly on the animal fables, a small selection of the animal fables. Now, if you've seen a few different versions of Aesop's Fables in different places, and you notice that there's a variance in what you're seeing with the kinds of fables and the kinds of things involved, it's because the Aesopic corpus is actually quite large. Aesop, who lived in ancient Greece, a slave, is one of these mythical characters that we know some things about, but it's not entirely clear which works come down from his to us that he wrote versus ones that were attributed to him. Much like Hippocrates, he's one of these characters from history that is in some ways much smaller and much larger than we would expect. But so just as a comparison, here is this little edition of this beautifully illustrated edition of Aesop's Fables with these great illustrations in it, and lots of these animal fables. And on the much more academic side, if you want to dig into something like this, which is an academic text, Aesopica, covers a much larger spread of the Aesopic corpus and everything that is attributed to Aesop, as well as fables that you know and love. So we've got the Fabula Graecae here. He's one of these foundational authors that really keeps coming back over and over and over again into literature, into society, into our world, because really of the enduring quality of the fables. So I'll put this back over here, but you can just see the difference, right, between something that's clearly much more for children and a beautiful volume versus one that really digs into all of the works ascribed to him. So this selection is fantastic for adults wanting to get into it, but especially for children because you've got these rather large illustrations showcasing the animals. And the animal fables are great. The animal fables are really some of the beloved classics. So we'll do just a few of these today. We only have probably time to do 5. So we'll pick 5 of these at random. And again, they're all good. So let's dive right in. The Wolf and the Lamb. A wolf came upon a lamb straying from the flock, and felt some reluctance about taking the life of so helpless a creature without some plausible excuse. So he cast about for a grievance, and said at last, "Last year, sir, you grossly insulted me." "That is impossible, sir," bleated the lamb, "for I wasn't born then." "Well," retorted the wolf, "you feed in my pastures." "That cannot be," replied the lamb, "for I have never yet tasted grass." "You drink from my spring, then," continued the wolf. "Indeed, sir," said the poor lamb, "I have never yet drunk anything but my mother's milk." "Well, anyhow," said the wolf, "I'm not going without my dinner." And he sprang upon the lamb and devoured it without more ado. The moral: hypocritical speeches are easily seen through. Let's grab another one. Let's pull up another one here. We've got a classic, The Lion and the Mouse. A lion asleep in his lair was awakened by a mouse running over his face. Losing his temper, he seized it with his paw and was about to kill it. The mouse, terrified, piteously entreated him to spare its life. "Please let me go," it cried, "and one day I will repay you for your kindness." The idea of so insignificant a creature ever being able to do anything for him amused the lion so much that he laughed aloud and good-humoredly let it go. But the mouse's chance came after all. One day, the lion got entangled in a net which had been spread for game by some hunters. The mouse heard and recognized his roars of anger and ran to the spot. Without more ado, it set to work to gnaw the ropes with its teeth and succeeded before long in setting the lion free. "There," said the mouse, "you laughed at me when I promised I would repay you. But now you see, even a mouse can help a lion." The moral is no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. I've got this illustration of the mouse and the lion here. I'll do 3 more of these, and then the lion ones. Ah, this is a good one. The fox and the grapes. A hungry fox saw some fine bunches of grapes hanging from a vine that was trained along a high tree, and did his best to reach them by jumping as high as he could into the air. But it was all in vain, for they were just out of reach. So he gave up trying and walked away with an air of dignity and unconcern, remarking, "I thought those grapes were ripe, but I see now they are quite sour." The moral: it is easy to despise what you cannot get. Anybody who's heard the term sour grapes, this is the origin of this. Let's see. Let's find 2 more, just 2 more. They're quite good ones in here. The town mouse and the country mouse. A town mouse and a country mouse were acquaintances, and the country mouse one day invited his friend to come and see him at his home in the fields. The town mouse came, and they sat down to a dinner of barleycorn and roots, the latter of which had a distinctly earthy flavor. The fare was not much to the taste of the guest, and presently he broke out with, "My poor dear friend, you leave here no better than the ants. Now you should just see how I fare. My larder is a regular horn of plenty. You must come and stay with me, and I promise you, you shall live on the fat of the land." So, when he returned to town, he took the country mouse with him, and showed him a larder containing flour and oatmeal and figs and honey and dates. The country mouse had never seen anything like it, and sat down to enjoy the luxuries his friend provided. But before they had begun, the door of the larder opened, and someone came in. The 2 mice scampered off and hid themselves in a narrow and exceedingly uncomfortable hole. Presently, when all was quiet, they ventured out again, but someone else came in, and off they scuttled again. This was too much for the visitor. "Goodbye," said he. "I'm off. You live in the lap of luxury, I can see, but you are surrounded by dangers, whereas at home I can enjoy my simple dinner of roots and corn in peace." Well, the moral is, better a little in safety than an abundance surrounded by danger. Town mouse and country mouse is a good one. Let's see. Let's pick one with an animal that we have not seen yet. Aha! Let's see. Yes. The crow and swan. A crow was filled with envy on seeing the beautiful white plumage of a swan, and thought it was due to the water in which the swan constantly bathed and swam. So he left the neighborhood of the inns, where he got his living by taking bits of meat left from the plates of diners, and went and lived among the pools and streams. But though he bathed and washed his feathers many times a day, he didn't make them any whiter, and at last he died of hunger in the bargain. The moral is, you may change your habits, but not your nature. We'll do 2 more. The eagle and the crow. One day a crow saw an eagle swoop down on a lamb and carry it aloft in its talons. "My word," said the crow, "I'll do that myself." So it flew high up into the air, and then came shooting down with a great whirring of wings on the back of a big ram, with the intention of carrying it off. It had no sooner alighted than its claws got caught fast in the wool, and nothing it could do was of any use. There it stuck, flapping away and only making things worse instead of better. By and by up came the shepherd. "Oh," he said, "so that's what you'd be doing, is it?" And he took the crow and clipped its wings, and carried it home to his children. It looked so odd that they didn't know what to make of it. "What sort of bird is it, father?" they asked. "It's a crow," he replied. "Nothing but a crow, but it wants to be taken for an eagle." The moral: thoughtless imitation will end in danger. And we'll do 1 more. I know we're over 5 now, but let's find one here. And there are lots that, even if you don't know Aesop, you'll definitely know by the name. Wolf in sheep's clothing, for example, the hare and the tortoise, all of these. So I'm just picking ones that are potentially a little bit lesser known, but are still... Let's do... Aha! The heron. A heron went wading one early morning to take his breakfast from the shallows of a stream. There were many fish in the water, but the stately heron thought he could find better. Such a small fry is certainly not suitable fare for a heron, he remarked to himself. And as a choice young perch swam by, the heron tipped his long bill in the air and snapped, "No, sir, I certainly wouldn't open my beak for that." The sun grew higher, and all the fish left the shallows for the cool, deep middle of the stream. When the heron could find no trace of a fish left in the stream, he was very grateful to finally break his fast on a mere snail. The moral: do not be too hard to suit, or you may have to be content with the worst, or with nothing at all. So, I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to dig into more Aesop's Fables, definitely let us know. Our purpose here is to cover some of the great works of literature, read a little bit from sections that that I really enjoy, and share it with you all. So, Aesop's Fables. This one is from Applesauce Press. There are lots of ones. I would skew towards ones that are classic or older translations. There's been some unfortunate newer translations of these works, but this one from Santore and Applesauce Press is really quite nice. So, anyway, thanks everybody, and we'll see you in the next one.